fall and be willing to fail, because so what? So what?
Yeah, I love that of you, but I love also the fact what you are sharing is there was no disease of excuse in your field. You had the priority of figuring it out and actually delivering through results. I always say that results, in the spiritual niche that I serve, are my offering to existence, my offering to the universe, my offering to God. My results are the ones that are going to determine not only where I'm going, but who I'm choosing to be every moment. And excuses and complaining and not figuring it out seems to me not actually honoring the spirit, the humanity, the abilities that as human beings we have. So you are an incredible example of that, of figuring it out, and of falling from the horse, the horse that you speak of invite people up to the horse. That's my next question. But I love that you are willing to get messy, because getting messy actually is a training. I've never seen anybody really expert that has never got their hands, dirty or messy with their fall. That's how you get to learn how to stand up.
That's right.
So,
and I just want to comment on what you said, from the spiritual aspect of this is a deal we all make with ourselves. This is a thing when you choose to move ahead, when you choose to take on a challenge, or when you choose to be uncomfortable, that's a spiritual deal that we make internally, right? It's where we tell ourselves, here's how I'm going to handle this. I can't reach it. No one's going to do this for me. This is my faith in myself, in faith in whatever you believe. But it is a very personal and very lonely decision to decide to take yourself to a new place you have not been on the faith that you will know what to do. I don't know a greater definition of faith and spirituality than believing in yourself.
I love that. This is the church of Shari. Right now we're going to preach, because I'm such a believer in that. I'm such a believer that, as you say in Relentless and Winning, you don't come here to prove unto others that you are making it. You prove to yourself. You compete with yourself. And as you always say, both in the book, Winning and Relentless, excellence is lonely. And you want it to be lonely, because then you have no excuse and no way to complain your way out of blaming into the system, blaming it into the weather, blaming it into your mentors, doing it because of your father or mother. No, we do it for ourselves. There's nothing more sacred than to take your faith in action, to render this service to yourself, and then deliver it to the world, like you both have done it, you and Tim Grover. So, Shari, tell us a little bit about, I love the metaphor that you use of not when people ask you to come down to their level, instead invite them to come to your level, to ride the horse. Please share that metaphor, because that's so important, especially for the culture that I come from. It's like, how is it possible you are inviting me to up level myself? You got to feel my pain and feel how victim mentality I have. Be a victim with me and we all will not succeed. That sucks. So share with us that, please.
So there's an expression, and I think it's an American expression, but it says, people say, get off your high horse. When people think you're thinking too much of yourself, your ego's too big, who do you think you are? I think everybody can relate to that. Who do you think you are? And I say, I know exactly who I am. I don't know who you think you are, but I know who I am. But the expression about getting on your high horse refers to somebody that thinks they're sitting up so high and looking down on everyone. And, we say, Tim says this all the time. You should come up here with me. I'm not coming down off this horse. You come up here with me if you want it. The view is great. I like where I am. I put myself here. I'm not coming down to your level. Why would I do that? If you want to ride with me, you come up to my level. That's how we're going to excel. I may not know all the answers. I'll tell you, I do not know all the answers. I don't probably know half the answers. But I know where I'm sitting. I worked hard to get to. I put my life into building to this point. I'm not coming down to make other people more comfortable. You can come up here with me, but I'm not coming down to you.
Yeah, I love that. And like from a spiritual and just doing the right thing for other humans perspective, I used to do this a lot. I used to get off my horse and why you are suffering? Let me suffer with you. And then it was both of us in the hole. And who is going to get us out if you get down off your horse to help, instead of them doing the effort to earn the right and get up in the horse that you work so hard for? We end up actually creating, a more victimization mentality in the world by doing that. We think that we're holy. We think that we're gracious, but actually we're stealing from people the opportunities to grow. There is a sutra in ancient traditions, in the Hindu traditions. There's a saint, a scholar named Patanjali, and he has an incredible sutra that I love, that it says, like the Bible and a lot of sacred scriptures, thou shalt not steal. And they're not talking about just stealing stuff from people, that people shouldn't do that, but it's opportunities from people to grow. And because when we do that, when I get off my horse to help others, I'm stealing from them. I become a thief, and I don't want to do that. I want to be, hopefully, I'm becoming a better human as I grow up older and hopefully wiser. So Shari, I know everybody that is going to listen to this podcast and will love to know, how did Shari Wenk convince Tim Grover, the coach of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, to write these incredible books that for us in my family, at least in my family and in my businesses and with our teams, have become not only a textbook, it has become a philosophy of action and living. How did you convince Tim Grover, and how long did it took you, Shari? Let people know about the work that you had to do for this.
So the shortest answer is, people ask how Tim and I met, and I say, well, I was a sports agent and he needed one. And that's the shortest answer of
boom.
of what has now been a 25-year friendship that has, gone through a lot of different stages. And now we are business partners, and we do all of our business together. Business partners, I'm his agent and the co-authors of his books. So, and I really, after working with him on Relentless, I really shrunk my own business down. I stopped taking other clients because I just wanted to work with Tim. So that's really what has happened here in all of these years. Now, keep in mind, I started my own agency in 1989. And I got into the business in 1983. So I'm a little bit older than maybe some of you on this call, but so it's been a long journey. And so Tim reached out to me originally in the 1990s after Michael Jordan had taken a hiatus from basketball and then came back to train again. And he had been approached to write a book about training Michael Jordan. And he had seen my name in the newspaper, and he reached out to me through a third party. And so we sat down and talked, and I made a deal for him. It was a great deal. And he, at the last minute, he decided he didn't want to do that book. It wasn't, he felt like it just wasn't the right thing to do. The work he did with Michael was very private. He didn't want to talk about the training. He didn't want to say anything that would cause, a distraction to Michael or the Bulls. And he said, I'm just not going to do this now. And I said, well, we'll keep in touch. We'll just keep in touch, and see how that goes. And so every couple of years, every year, twice a year, I drop him a note, send him an email, write a letter. I think in those days we were still writing letters. I don't know if we were emailing yet. And I would just be in touch. I'd run into him in places. I'd, hey, how have you been? He said, not yet. I'm not writing a book yet. And I tried, believe me. Like, this guy knows so much about so many things. I'm just going to stay with it. So as I said, a couple times a year, I drop him a note. I wasn't obnoxious about it. We'd see each other from time to time, and we were cordial to each other. We knew who each other were, and that was about it. And then one day in like 2009, he reached out to me, called me, goes, I have an idea I want to talk to you about. I was so excited. So I went like running over to his facility where he was training the athletes at the time. And we sat down for quite a while, and he kind of talked about some ideas for a book that would eventually become Relentless. But we didn't know what that was at the time. We were still just talking about ideas. And he said, well, I'm going to need a writer for this. And I'm listening to him, and my head is going to explode because I have so many ideas about it. I just finished writing a book, the third book, with Tiger Woods and his dad, Earl Woods. And I said, well, I just finished this other book and it's really great and you should see it. But if you're open to it, I'd love to write this book with you. And he said, well, let's talk about what that would look like. And we did. And that has led to, the greatest ride of my career is working with Tim on these projects and growing this side of his business with him. He's an astonishing man. He's brilliant. And he has allowed the two of us together to take this, this part of his career in places that were all new to him. So we sat down, started writing Relentless. It took us about 3 years to figure out what it would be, how it would be, get it sold to a publisher and get it finished. And we didn't know what Relentless was going to become. We knew it was special, but we just didn't know. And actually had a very slow start out of the gate, did not sell hugely at first. And then people read it and more people read it and more people read it. And the word of mouth, people were just like, oh my God, you got to read this book. We were like, all right, let's go. And it took 8 years between that and winning, because we just weren't ready. We had so much that we could have done in a second book. We took our time. And when Tim was ready, he's like, you know what? I think we should explore this. And the pandemic came and we had a little more time on our hands. And he said, this is the time. Let's do it. So we sat down and we put winning together.
Well, the first thing I want to, that's super. That's very powerful to know that it takes time. It takes time to actually grow oneself into a good human, a successful one, and a winning one. I want to first congratulate Mr. Grover, that I know he will know this, for him actually reaching out to you, because I think that was one of his best choices, talking about my mentor. And I agree with you. He's I've been very blessed to have the best coaches and mentors in the industry. But when I met you and Tim, one of the major teachings of your embodiment of who you are for me, that actually helped me create more results than I ever had, because I was I was very spiritual, but my own spirituality was like keeping me under the radar, right? It was the deletion process that I did, and to see how real and human you both are. I have never met in my life, except, hopefully I'm becoming more of that, someone, a mentor, a coach, both of you, that over deliver. It doesn't matter if you have a client for one day, in my experience, because I'm a proud Down and Dirty member. For those of you who don't know what Down and Dirty is, we'll put some links. They are not open right now for their groups, but when they open, get the opportunity and get there. Don't think about it, because if you think about it, you're going to lose. And we want to win. Spirituality is winning. Winning is spirituality. Remember this. But I have never seen someone that over delivers and that is just a great human. You genuinely, both of you, are people that care for results, care for reality, and really care for people. So I just wanted to send that. Yeah.
To comment on that, I think if you look at both of our histories, we both spent all these years working with very high level people. In Tim's case, Michael Jordan, for example. And he had a lot of years to watch how someone like that conduct themselves. And there's a lot of celebrities that are not, they may be famous, but they're not kind, or they're not giving, or they don't think about their fans or the audience. And Tim watched Michael for a long time and saw the time that he gave the fans, what he gave of himself, to always look good, to be kind to people, to give as much of himself as he could, because those were his fans and they gave so much time to him. You're going to watch me play basketball for 3 hours. I have an obligation to give back to you. And so, for example, when we go to an event and Tim is speaking or he's appearing somewhere, he always gives extra time. And he's one of the only speakers that does that. Why? He said, if these people came all the way out here to see me speak, why am I going to sneak out the back door without shaking any hands, without signing a book, taking a picture? I'm honored to be here. And we both feel that way. We're honored. I'm honored to be on your podcast. We're honored to be at events and be with people. Those people came, to see Tim and listen and to read our books. If somebody comes up to you with a book to sign, I can't imagine a greater insult than saying, I don't have time.
Yes, I witnessed that, and Shari, I witnessed that because I call myself the down and dirty groupie, right? I've been going to your wherever team speaks, whenever I can, and see you too, because I went to see you at the 10X Ladies when Elena Cardone. I just went to that event because of you. Actually, I saved a lot of money. I'm not going. I'm not going this time because you are not there. You are not there, so I'm going to preach it, and I love Elena. So, but it is so true. I witnessed the delivery of both you and Tim, because you are there with him too. You are supporting, and I always say that you are, it's wordplay, the mind behind the master and the master behind the mind, which truly makes you a great mastermind. Napoleon Hill and many other incredible scholars used to